The concept of a senior center in White Rock emerged from a group of friends that recent retirees, Mary and Doug Venable, invited to meet for lunch once a month at Catherine's. They dubbed themselves the Prime Timers.
When I moved down here, when I married Doug, there was wonderful Catherine's restaurant available, and I approached her, could we come at 1 o'clock after your rush hour, and there might be 10 or 15 of us. Yes, let's try it, she said. Well, we quickly grew to 20 and 30. Many people had just retired. They were very anxious to get together with other retirees right in White Rock. And from that nucleus is what gave us the impetus to step out in faith and start a senior center when none of us had any experience.
Louise Hassman, RSVP Director at the Los Alamos Senior Center, suggested to Mary that she start a senior center in White Rock. Dale Dyke, Executive Director of Senior Programs for the Los Alamos Family Council, felt strongly that senior programs should be close to seniors and was a strong advocate with the County Council.
You know, we got to talking and thinking and realizing that there was some space available and that seniors ought to have programs and activities close to where they live. And the assumption, I think, up to that point had been that, well, the seniors down in White Rock can drive up to Los Alamos, and that's what they should do. But that really doesn't work for people as they get older. And one of the things that we wanted to break down was isolation.
It took a lot of effort to convince the County Council that a center was needed in White Rock and to get them to allocate space for it in a county building. Laurie Mann, as council chair at the time, was very supportive once we demonstrated our willingness to assume the responsibility for running the center.
Well, I think it was the place where all the new ideas from White Rock were generated. People came here, and I think it was convenient to the library. It's perfect for that, and it just was sort of the town hall for White Rock. Actually, in some ways, it was a much more of a gathering place than we had in Los Alamos.
Given enthusiastic support were Councilors Sharon Stover and Stretch Fretwell.
It made everyone in the community realize, hey, I can get involved and make things happen. And from that spin-off, to my mind, we now have really cool things happening in White Rock. So it all started with a group of people that paid a few dollars to get something happening, and there's tremendous involvement in activities.
Finally, the whole county council agreed and suggested a few vacant spaces. Mary, Louise, and Dell looked at the spaces. They rejected the old bowling alley as not conducive to small gatherings. Then they looked at the former fire department office building, part of the White Rock Municipal Complex, which was vacant at the time.
We lobbied and were successful in getting some space for senior use. And I would say that Mary Venable worked very hard from this end, and I tried to work from the Los Alamos end with County Council. And eventually we got this little spot, and essentially it was the space right behind the logo.
Although the whole building was empty, they were only offered what is now the chat room, the library, and the snack area. Mary accepted. It was a start. On August 3, 1995, the White Rock Satellite Senior Center opened its doors to the public. Joanne Brown was the first to cross the threshold and was followed that day by 50 other guests. Jesse Valdez and Helen Bender were the first receptionists, and they, together with Mary and Doug, served a whole day each.
When we first heard about it by word of mouth, that there was a new senior center starting in White Rock. We were very, very happy because my husband and I had just been retired. And so we decided that this was going to be nice because we wouldn't have to travel to Los Alamos, and we would have our own White Rock Center here.
Julia Gauthier helped recruit more receptionists, and soon there were enough to fill both the morning and an afternoon shift. Marion Hyatt was among the first to provide cookies and muffins. Mary borrowed $50 from Dell Dyke to buy a large coffee pot, and she was able to repay him with interest within 2 months.
We needed a commercial-sized coffee pot, so I borrowed $50 from the Hill Senior Center, but we paid it back in double. We paid back $100 for them in just a few weeks because our donation jar filled very quickly.
From the beginning, a donation jar helped defray the cost of food and paper goods.
We did not want to be indebted to anybody. We were going to carry our own load, and that has always been the policy here.
Jerry Bauer and other volunteers also staged 3 junk and treasure sales to raise money for furnishings and equipment. Mary McCurdy donated a refrigerator, and other generous members donated a TV and VCR, exercise equipment, books, and cassettes. Los Alamos National Bank donated a just-like-new couch. Virginia Burgess was enlisted to keep the financial records. With county approval, Alan Connor cut a large window in the wall of the chat room adjacent to the entrance so that the receptionist could both greet people and also be a part of the chat room conversations, a feature that makes White Rock Senior Center a uniquely friendly place. Ideas for activities popped up spontaneously. Jesse Valdez formed a sewing group. In 2000, they dubbed themselves the Hookers and Stitchers.
Well, we decided we needed a name because everybody was different. The wood carvers had their name, and so the girls submitted different names, and someone suggested Hookers and Stitchers, and we thought that was whimsical and nice, and it covered the different types of needlework that was being done by all the girls that were attending the meetings, and so we decided on Hookers and Stitchers.
John Coda started bridge lessons in the card room, aka library. The visiting nurses also used this room for flu shots and weekly blood pressure checks. Franz Beal suggested an investment club, and to facilitate his idea, Dell Dyke petitioned the county to open the South Town Hall to accommodate the group.
And I said to Mary, you know, I'd like to start a investment group. And she said, go right ahead, put a sign up on the bulletin board. So that's what I did. And the next week, we started meeting Thursdays at 10 a.m., and now it's been going on for almost 20 years.
The computer users from uptown decided to alternate their meetings with White Rock. Also in South Town Hall, Betty Jalbert ran a German speakers club, which met there once a month.
For many years in the community, there was a German-speaking group that would meet on Saturdays once a month, and they would meet in people's homes. And it got to the point where this lady, Betty Jalbert, could no longer find any homes for people to host the meetings. So I said, why don't you go over to the White Rock Senior Center and ask? And she did. And then for about 5 years, we had meetings here at the Senior Center for the German-speaking group. And that was a great deal of pleasure for me and a great deal of fun. I really did enjoy that.
As activities expanded, the Venables had to petition the county once again for more space, and we were allotted the present pool room.
Because we had so many activities. It was so new to have activities happening in this county building in White Rock.
Earl Mays began a weekly pinochle game. John Tubb brought the wood carvers from Fuller Lodge to the new White Rock space. This room was also used for elder hostel and travel talks initiated by Marge and Ray Garn, and for craft projects presented by Lana Schulte, the cooperative extension agent, for brown bag and book discussions led by Ruth Foreman, for health discussions by Glenn Lockhart, for computer lessons by Forrest Strong, for safety talks given by LAPD Officer DeLuca, and for periodic chats with a counselor. Jack Clifford enticed the men who met at the Quick Stop for coffee to try some of the delicious homemade goodies provided by volunteers, and they soon became regulars at the snack table.
Well, there were about 16 different guys that would meet at 3 o'clock every day at Quick Stop here in White Rock. And so one day when there was a lull in the conversation, I said, hey, how about you guys trying out the senior center over there? They have great coffee. And I didn't realize what a reaction I was going to get. I mean, I had one fellow that said, are you kidding? Decrepit old people. Who needs a senior center? My God, you know. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, I even mentioned it. Okay, so I backed off. And then I had to use a little psychology. And then I said, hey, you know, I just left the senior center over there, and somebody baked a whole bunch of brownies, and coffee was good. And I, you know, before I came over here. And they kind of looked at me and said, oh, you know. And then they started to sneak over here. They never would say they came over, but they would come over on their own. And then pretty soon it caught on. Pretty soon the 3 o'clock coffee thing over there became over here. And it worked out really well.
I am that decrepit old lady that Jack Clifford tried to get the people to come over from the Quick Stop to eat my cookies. And how grateful that we were when more men came.
Another popular feature of the chat room was the puzzle table. In 1998, thanks to efforts by Jack Clifford, Joyce Blanco, and Earl Mays, the county granted permission for the center to remain open on Thursday nights for a penny ante poker game and sharing of tall tales.
Yeah, it was a good group. There was a good group that came and they would share the stories, and you get Jack Clifford in here talking, and he gets to talking about the good old days.
One night I'm working over here in the senior center at the reception desk, and I find a hearing aid battery on the floor. So I picked it up and I said, did somebody lose this? And I had 7 or 8 people all in the same breath. What did you say?
A couple of years later, the use of the center was extended to Saturday mornings for a variety of activities, including dominoes, 8-ball pool, table tennis, and of course, chatting. Mary began to alternate potluck lunches with monthly lunches at Catherine's. Setting up and serving these potlucks were Jan Barber, Romaine Betts, Mary McCurdy, Marcella Lockhart, and other volunteers.
Well, I love to bake, and so this was a wonderful outlet for my baking because I didn't want to keep it at home.
For the first 6 years, potlucks were held in local parks, in the senior center courtyard, or in a variety of county spaces.
All kinds of food. Boy, all kinds of food. And he says, oh wow, there's all this food on this table. I'm in heaven, I says. So I says, what's this? What's this? Says this. Says, never mind, just eat it, you know. And it says, and what's in here? What's in here? Says, never mind, just eat it. And you'd be surprised how many chefs are down here. A lot of people love. I love my potlucks.
What you got here was a bunch of smiling faces. They were a happy group. You knew you were always going to get food. You're always going to get well fed when you came to the White Rock Senior Center.
They were enhanced by Jack Clifford's seasonal decorations. Jack was assisted by John Ferris, Joyce Blanco, and Flo Merritt.
Every time they have a potluck here, we decorate the hall, as you noticed. We're a party people.
Russell Hand, noted for his secret breading recipe, started our annual fish fries.
And it's very good. You know, I never had catfish. Being from back east, we never had catfish. And my first catfish was here at a fish fry, and it was excellent. And now I'm a big fan of catfish.
Attendance has exceeded 70 seniors at these popular gatherings.
People from the hill come down here for potluck. I said, what do you do down here? He says, I like it better down here. I said, but you have potluck up there. He says, no, we like it down here better, because you people are party people. You're like a group, you're family.
When McDonald's opened in White Rock in 1997, McBreakfast was added on Wednesday mornings, preceded by an early morning walk, but McDonald's closed. Then, thanks to Pastor McCullough, this became the still popular McBaptist breakfast, whose success can also be judged by the large number of attendees. As the Senior Center's contribution to the White Rock 50th anniversary, Betty Wright volunteered to assemble a cookbook using recipes provided by our seniors. The cookbook was funded in part by the family of Bonnie Winters, our oldest senior who lived to age 103. An autograph party was held for Betty in conjunction with our 4th anniversary in 1999. Also in 1999, the Art in Public Places Committee responded to Mary Venable's request that a White Rock site be considered and erected the winsome and lovable Who Me? Penguin statue between the Senior Center and the White Rock Branch Library.
So another exciting thing, and something that I was proud in, because when I was on council, I actually got to be part of the dedication, and that is of the cute little penguin, Who Me? And you know, it was really Glenn Lockhart who said, Sharon, you know, if you're going to do this, I was very young still on the council. He said, if you're going to do this, you need to say something, and he helped me with that. But White Rock Senior Center folks were very instrumental in getting our first piece of art from the Art in Public Places, which we now have other pieces, but Who Me started it off with the White Rock Senior Center, and it's really nice when you go drive by it and see little Who Me out there standing.
Noticing that there was no flagpole at the county complex, White Rock seniors decided to raise money for one in memory of deceased seniors Andy Rich and Dean Merritt. The county approved, and on July 12, 2002, Councilor Jeff Rogers, with 50 seniors and a Girl Scout color guard in attendance, dedicated the new flagpole in the Senior Center courtyard. Marion Hyatt wanted exercise to be part of the senior program and started a Sit and Be Fit class that first squeezed into the library and later expanded when more space became available. After Marion passed away in 2005, Flo Merritt changed the class to the more challenging low-impact aerobics, which now has expanded to fill the great room.
And with that exercise class, they started, well, the music to it is kind of, people were complaining that they didn't like it, but they still keep coming. And we started out with 3 to 4, and now we're up, sometimes we get 14 on Sundays. But most of the time we run anywhere from 8 to 12.
Flo, a former nurse, also offered to take over the blood pressure checks.
They found out that I was a retired nurse, and so Mary asked me if I'd do blood pressures because it was hard to get enough people from the visiting nurse to come regularly. And so I've taken blood pressures every Wednesday afternoon since at least probably 99, maybe 2000.
Ruth Silbert started a beginning line dancing class, which became so popular it split into 2 groups, with Pat Bunker leading the more advanced dancers. In 1997, Marilyn Foster brought the Hill Tappers to White Rock for a weekly practice session. For the first 2 years, Dale and Molly Holm taught ballroom dancing on Tuesday evenings. Of course, space for these activities meant scheduling more time in the White Rock Activity Building across the courtyard from the Senior Center. Mary herself led the Friday walkers on hikes on nearby trails and occasionally on weekend explores to places like Venable Peak in Colorado, the Bisti Wilderness, Bear Mountain Lodge, and Gila Cliff Dwellings near Silver City, and Bosque del Apache.
Every Friday we had a walk from 3 to 5 miles, and it was always around the area here and sometimes around Santa Fe or up around Espanola. And once a month then we had a longer walk, and we would have lunch out someplace.
Alan Connor drove a senior van and took pictures of most of those early trips. He was succeeded by Paul Bunch and Jim Stapp on later trips.
We also had vanable trips, and we would go for the weekend. And we went to Colorado a couple of times. We've gone to the Bisti over by Farmington, and let's see where else. Ruidoso. We just went a lot of interesting places.
The Vanables were great fun for all. The county gave us the old weight room equipment located in a small room in the White Rock Activity Center. At first, Wayne Bongianni supervised the weight room on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. But then the buddy system was implemented and the weight room became available during all senior center hours. In the beginning, the center was called the White Rock Satellite Senior Center, but by November 1997, the term satellite was dropped.
I think it was very important, the starting of this senior center, because it sort of meant that White Rock was transitioning from being a satellite to Los Alamos to being a partner with Los Alamos. Of course, a lot of people have done much more than I did, like Sharon Stover and others, but I think Mary and this White Rock Senior Center was the start of that transition.
White Rock seniors expressed their enthusiasm for their new center by purchasing colorful t-shirts with White Rock Senior Center inscribed on the front and "The older I get, the better I was" printed across the back, and by marching in the homecoming parade behind their new White Rock Senior Center banner. Meanwhile, funds had been raised under the inspiration of the late Betty Ehart to build a new senior center uptown in Los Alamos to consolidate the senior programs held in the golf course building, the community center building, and in the Church of Christ meeting rooms. In 1998, the new Betty Ehart Senior Center was opened, but without space for the Day Out program. So it was decided to move Day Out into that empty office space in the White Rock Senior Center, while a Day Out area was built as an addition to the Betty Ehart Senior Center.
They did the Day Out for the county, which was very important to me because my wife worked for Day Out when I was at the Christian church for years.
To clear the former office space for Day Out, a group of senior volunteers, led by Jerry Bauer, Fred Minshaw, Jim Stapp, and Doug Venable, tore down the partitions between the offices. Then licensed plumbers and electricians finished the work. For the next 2 years, the White Rock Senior Center was a gracious host to Day Out. When the addition to the Betty Ehart Senior Center was finally finished, Mary petitioned the county once again for the Day Out space to be our great room for potlucks for the large groups that had previously met in Southtown Hall. With this new space available, Bob Nuns convinced the LA Duplicate Bridge Club to move its Monday afternoon game from the White Rock Presbyterian Church to the Senior Center. To assist with planning and to share responsibilities for the center, Mary enlisted a gang of 7. The gang was later named the Steering Committee, and when Mary was away due to her mother's illness and death, they shared the role of Boss of the Week.
Well, we have, I believe it's 9 now, steering committee members, and we each take turns of being the boss of the week. And it's our job to open up, close up, see for sure that we have somebody on the desk, see that we have food on the table, and just take care of anything special that comes up during the week.
Jan Barber replaced Virginia Burgess as treasurer. Jan was later succeeded by Richard Shaner. Sadly, by 2001, Doug Venable's health was deteriorating, and Mary reluctantly retired from the White Rock Senior Center. For 3 years, Bill Todd filled in as temporary director, assisted by the steering committee. But the duties of director became too time-consuming for a volunteer, so the Larso board decided to hire a part-time director for the center. Our first director was Lisa Larson, who served from 2004 to 2006. She was replaced by Marlene McCrory from 2006 to 2007. Then our present director, Annie Bard, was hired. Now, after 20 years, we are poised for the next stage of our metamorphoses. We have temporarily relocated from the county complex while it is being renovated to accommodate our ever-expanding members and programs.
The great motivation for expansion was the whole business of lifelong learning and setting up classes. And I visited a lot of senior centers around the state, and none operate the way White Rock and Los Alamos senior centers do and did back in those days. The whole focus of keeping people active and involved and making learning lifelong was what we were all about.
Many people have used the phrase, "It's a home away from home." Indeed it is. Not only for the singles, but many couples find it a place to go to meet other retirees. We have introduced people that have lived here for years in White Rock, but never got to know each other. But after they retired, they were very anxious to have a place to go. This is that place and has continued and thrived through the years.
The White Rock Senior Center has truly been my life for the last 20 years. It's what I spend more time at than anything else. And it's been a wonderful experience because most of the people that I know here now, I didn't know when I came to the senior center, even though I'd lived here for many years. And we're sort of all in the same boat, and a lot of us particularly that are alone and don't have family here, it's just wonderful to have a place to come to and meet people and spend time with people with like interests. And it's been super. And I must say, the day I stopped to see what the senior center was like was probably one of the best days of my life.
And I was sitting here, I guess it's been a couple of months ago, I was standing over there at the counter, and I thought, one of the reasons that I come over, and one of the reasons that it's just so neat to be here, is that you hear men talking. Because as a widow, and with my church activities, a lot of it's with women, and so just to stand there and to listen to the conversation and such, it's for a widow, it's nice to come.
That I really enjoyed my time here at the Senior Center. I look forward to coming here. I look forward to doing the desk. Now, obviously, I stay till midnight, and some of the people are, a lot of them, they're going home to an empty home, So I don't mind staying.
I see a lot of people retire, there's nowhere to go. See, they just stay home. And says, I come down to the senior center, they're always here. See, they get out, they have to get out. So you just can't stay home, watch the TV. Get out and do things.
Just a chance to get together and visit and to play games together. And they did dancing. It was really the White Rock Center for just about everybody.
We've met a lot of people that have retired from the lab, and then we get together with people that we have known beforehand. People from all walks of life, actually. We have people that come in from other countries, foreign countries, and visit with us, and just to see how we operate. So we have enjoyed it very much.
Well, this White Rock Senior Center has been something that I've made many new friends. I've had a very good time coming here. Thank you.
I'm not quite at that age, although I'm a lot closer, but I look forward to all the activities that I hope to participate in down the road. So happy birthday, White Rock Senior Center. Amazing job. The movement that you guys started way back is continuing. Congratulations.
It's just been a delightful trip, and I'm so glad and grateful for the people that have carried it on for 20 years now. Happy birthday.